Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my fourth live. Today I'm talking with I feel like a longtime friend, Candice. Her and I have spoken several times on and off throughout the year, but I think her and I met probably way back in 2019. I think it was like 2019. Her and I spoke a lot about our brain surgeries. Her and I have gone through a lot that has to do. Her is more recent than mine. Hey everybody, thanks for joining. So her and I are going to chat a lot about, one, her story, two, just like a lot of our similarities that has to do with, hey girl,
Hi.
nice to see you.
You too. Hot mess over today.
I'm so glad last time we spoke, like this kind of spoke, it was like we were in person together.
Yeah. But didn't we do a live one before that? Or no? I feel like we did. Did we? And then we met in person.
We're talking to two people who have like serious memory issues.
I know.
It's like, did you do it? No, did I do it? I don't know.
I don't know. It was so long ago now. Like, I just caught you saying, yeah, like I reached out to you when I was like, oh my gosh, I have tumors on my brain. What's going to happen to me? So we were texting back and forth or messaging on IG.
Was that 2019 when was that
Yeah.
what it was? I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, I think we were friends on there, and then when the brain tumors happened, I was like, oh, I'm gonna reach out to her.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's probably
yes.
accurate. So for those of you who don't know Candice, I encourage you to just follow her story. If you're either a newly diagnosed or getting into survivorship, she's really great about sharing her story. She's got a new role, which I do want to go all into as far as what she's newly diving into as a survivor, which I'm really excited to hear more about. But
Should I have a crown on?
yes, you should. No, you definitely have to. Did you bring it?
Okay, right
I
now?
need to see this. Yeah. Maybe we should just start with that.
Okay, there we go.
I mean, could this get any cooler? Wow. Look at you.
I don't know what's going on with my hair. It's been a rough day.
That is big. Is it heavy?
No, it's pretty light, but it's not fitting my head today. It's like adjustable. See, but there we go. I don't know.
That's pretty incredible considering, I mean, you should be wearing a crown. We all should be owning
I know,
crowns
right?
like that.
We should make like a black one for us melanoma people.
No kidding. Can you imagine just representing that every day? People would be like, why are you wearing that? Well, let me tell you why.
Exactly.
Oh, you have a sash.
Yep.
You fit this role very well, I have to say.
I don't know.
You do suit it well.
I love sparkles, so why not?
So why don't you just dive into your story a bit and just kind of touch on, and then we'll lead into why exactly you're wearing all this gear.
Okay, so I was diagnosed with melanoma in 2017. It all started with a little freckle here on my nose, and it took years, I'm talking like 10 years or more, to morph into a mole that was questionable, and I went to have it removed. It was biopsied, and it came back stage 1 melanoma. So it was a plastic surgeon. He put me in touch with the melanoma group here in Tucson, and the size of my mole was 0.9 millimeters. So if you round up, it's 1. And then that made me a candidate for more invasive surgery. So I had 4 lymph nodes removed in my face and neck, and 1 came back with micrometastasis. So basically they found 1 cancer cell, and that's been my life ever since. And then in 2019, after I still my body still didn't feel well, but my scans and everything were clean. But then I just happened to get rear-ended by a young man, and I went to the ER a week later because my chest was still hurting. They did a CT scan and tested for valley fever. That was negative, but there was something on my lungs, so I knew what it was, and I called Dr. Shaheen right away.
Mm-hmm. And from there, it just spiraled. But I mean, had you not got in that accident, who knows where you'd be right now?
Exactly. So, people get mad when they get in accidents, right? So,
right.
But this guy saved my life. And it was his first accident. He had his car. He was going to school, and he totaled his car, and, I felt really bad, but
yeah,
he saved my life.
It's kind of crazy. And a lot of people ask me, and I don't know if you get this question, but it's, how do you go from stage 1 to stage 4? Like, how does it jump? And a lot of people don't understand that, but maybe you can elaborate a little bit just based off your story.
Yeah. So, it's like a process. When I went to when the plastic surgeon removed the original lesion, it was stage 1, but then you have to go for more tests, and so then surgery, and then they biopsy the lymph nodes. So then it was stage 3. And then, by the time I was rear-ended and the scan showed, 3 tumors on my brain, 2 on my lung, my spleen, and pelvic wall. So then it obviously a lot further. So that was stage 4.
And if your body is got melanoma growing, for instance, if you're stage 1 and it's a cell that you may or may not even had, let's say you didn't get a lymph node check, had you have melanoma growing in there, I mean, boom, you could be stage 4 just that quick.
Yep. So, and we try to share with everybody in the world is, skin cancer is not just something, you cut it out and it's gone for
right.
People. Goes a lot further than just the skin.
Super, super important for people. And I know a lot of people who are maybe on this live or follow us do and have learned the hard way that obviously you don't just cut it off and move forward. Even the people who are in the early stages, I think it's really traumatic for people to process the fact of, is it going to return? Am I going to be stage 3? You're mentally just rolling this in your head constantly of, when is it coming back? It's the constant fear, I think, that gets us.
So you are 7 years out now, right?
8.
See, I'm going on, I'm coming up to my 5-year mark, but basically you're my goat.
Yeah.
And you're my goal, you're my life goals, you're my role model. So
thank you.
Yeah. I don't know.
Proud to be that.
I just
just saying, it's hard. It's the reoccurrence,
yeah. So,
Yeah.
Every day I'm like, oh, I hope, I still am dealing with or without this necrosis. Who knows what's going on? But, right. Brain feels a little squishy here, and it's not squishy like when I had a tumor, but is it the necrosis coming back? Is it my body trying to, still fight off the cancer? I don't know.
It's I think that constant fear, I always tell people, for me, it'll never go away. You'll never not be afraid of it returning. It's just learning to manage the fear and learning to live with the possibility of it returning. For me, I haven't had a PET scan since 2019, and it terrifies me. My insurance will not cover it.
I'm back in surveillance mode, but I don't know when the next time I will get another PET scan. So,
and that is terrifying. You got to be the same as me. It's you do get out to survivorship, you do get those years, but it's almost the longer you go out. For me, I get more terrified as every year goes on because I don't know what my body's doing inside. I don't know if it's freaking out and growing melanoma by the day, or if I'm every bellyache, I'm oh my God, am I this bloated? Should I, every headache, oh my God, does this headache feel like the last one, that one time too, it's a hard role to live in survivorship, I think.
Yeah, and what was I gonna say? You know, I'm getting up there in age, so I'm like, is it I'm old, I'm tired,
Yeah.
are my hormones changing, or like what's normal? I don't know.
Yeah, I do find a lot of questions get like, how do you manage this? What do you think? And um, being like a survivor, just like you and just like me, the longer we go, the fear is just like I just try to focus on my life and what I've got in front of me and my kids and my family. And I think they pull me out a lot of like those dark moments of where you're like, oh my God, I could have cancer tomorrow or a year from now, or, you know, I don't know how you manage your fear, but for me that's what works.
I manage my fear just by trying to be as positive as I can, and
Mm.
um, I
Keep
don't
him
know.
busy, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
what?
Keep him busy, I'm sure.
Yeah, that really. So I don't know if that's a double-edged sword or not. I
Yeah.
just, because I do have anxiety and stuff. So it's easy for me to get into my own head. But
Mhm.
overall, I just, and I think having cancer, because my life, especially before then, was all about prevention, because, you want to eat right, you want to do this, you want to do
Yeah.
that, so don't get it. But then it ended up happening to me anyway. So I feel like that put my anxiety into check in a big way. So when I do get scared or anxious, I'm like, okay, but you've already been through so many tough things, like suck it
Yeah.
up, big girl pants on.
No, true. And I know like a lot of people I tell like it's just same thing. You just kind of have to learn to manage it. But it's, you know, and I think this might be for you too. Like the longer we get out, it's kind of like, okay, well, like you said, I've been there, done that. So move on. You're upset. Next, it's just like you learn to just kind of realize what you can fix versus what you can't, and you
Yeah.
go down the lane of I'm going to choose to be positive about this situation, manage it the best I can, and move forward and let it do its damage some other day,
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. So I don't know, but also, what am I trying to say? I mean, I do have, sympathy and empathy, but sometimes it's hard when people complain about the little things when I'm like, I've faced death. So
Yeah.
I guess there's bigger things in the world, and what are people doing to um, make their time here count? That's what
Yeah.
I'm trying.
No, for sure, because you never know, obviously. As a cancer patient, warrior, survivor, anybody dealing with cancer, you really truly go, wow, life is so precious. You have a limited time and you really got to YOLO your entire life. You really got
Yep,
to
yep.
put in perspective what you want out of it. And I think you do a great job. Like every year you're doing something bigger, better, and like you're changing, you're talking to public figures. So I do want to touch first before we get into that. It's just like, how did Desert Camo Apparel become what it is? How did you go from cancer patient to UPF Clothing CEO owner of like this company?
Um, so it just, you're faced with death. I was faced with death, and it's like, oh, I have to move my bucket list up. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
things I always wanted to do was like try my hand at business. And most days I want to give up because it's really hard. And,
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else, but for me, I feel like selling sun safety is hard. And like that's probably why I want to give up. I feel like I'm doing everything I can, but it's not really translating to sales. So I don't know, if I'm missing something, but at the end of the day, it's a way for me to express myself
Yeah.
and get the word out about sun safety. And, we both live in Arizona. So every time I go out and do events and such, and I tell my story, quite a few people are like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that skin cancer could do that. Well, it can. So,
Yeah, famous
and
words right
that's
there.
why I like showing my pictures. And, cancer is not always fun, but it's real life. And,
Hmm.
I just think people need to know.
Yeah, I think it's great for one you brought like, the Arizona look to obviously your company, which is a beautiful thing because the desert is a beautiful
So
place.
I'm wondering if like that's my problem. Is it so unique or such a small, subset that
Yeah.
everybody lives in the desert? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
No,
I'm
I understand that. I mean, I don't think anybody really does, but you do have a unique way of creating this clothing, and I think who knows where it will go. I mean, you could totally have that and spin it to something totally different. I mean, who knows where this could go, but the fact that you're out there trying and you're doing some safety and people are following and encouraging you, who knows where you could end up with it. Only time will tell, but
Yeah, and that's what keeps me going, and I'm already in it. I don't know if I should like stop and give up. I don't want
yeah.
to because it's not how I am, but just like with cancer, you don't know how it's going to end up. I don't know. I didn't
Yeah.
know I'd be sitting here today talking to you again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just being real.
We're just YOLOing our entire
Yep.
lives, honestly.
Yeah. So that's, I guess, how it came in. I'm sitting in the infusion chair, and, what can I do to make a difference in the world while I'm still here? And how can I be of an impact to society? That
Yeah.
kind of thing. That's not the only thing on my bucket list. I've done some other things, and yeah.
So from there, I mean, the last 2 years, you've obviously we both are trying to do similar things as far as education, sharing stories, connecting with this, ongoing growing community, which is obviously a good and bad thing. But you've also recently with talking to public figures as far as making a change. So tell me about that. I'd love to hear about how that's working out.
I am just reaching out to anybody who will listen. And obviously, I look for quality, but
Mm-hmm.
this year, thanks to D,
Yeah,
I got to take part in the Melanoma Advocacy Days and the Melanoma Research Foundation. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat. They
mm-hmm.
my story, and I don't know. I just anybody who will listen is what
So
I'm
you
trying.
spoke with the senator, right? Didn't you?
Well, not the actual senators, right? It's their aide, but
But
they
still, that's a huge thing.
and I mean, I guess as I'm doing these things, you learn too, and um, I don't know. It's just cool. And, one of the things that we were advocating for was more research funding for our military personnel
Yeah.
who spend a lot of time out in the sun. And, do we need to change hats or something? Like, what can we
Hmm.
do to protect them, as they protect us?
Yeah. I think that's really incredible. When I met Dee actually not too long ago, she touched on like advocacy days and stuff that I'm still learning about, which I think is so incredible. And I told her, I was like, if we could, the amount of people that I know live in Arizona that are melanoma people, can you imagine if we just all mobbed up in something like
No,
that?
that's what I want to do. I want to put Arizona on the map for melanoma. So,
Yeah.
I do with my business, I do an annual Sun Safe event. This year, I'm probably going to change it up. And I know we've talked, but
Yeah.
uh, Amy from Nevada, she's going to be in town
That's cool.
September, well, like Arizona, I think Sedona area. but I'm trying to plan something because it's also my 40th birthday, so we can like raise money or something.
Nice.
For, I don't know if there's something in Phoenix that you hold near and dear to your heart. You know, I've reached out here in Tucson, but you know, I'm just, how can we tackle the whole state?
Yeah, no, I agree. The more the
And I
merrier.
think a lot of us from Arizona that are very passionate about what we do.
Yeah.
That, yeah, if we could like mob together, like we could just, how many more people we could reach, you know?
Yeah, and I think like if we really put our minds to it, I mean, even just like next May, like making something to where it's, you know, even if it's speaking with, you know, public officials, or if it's like being at a certain location. I don't know. We just got to really like put our heads together as a group. And I
Yes.
feel like there's some really good leaders. We are like really good leaders. I don't know. I mean, anything's really possible, but I think all of us want change. All of us want to see people just really listening and educating themselves in the right way. So, I mean, we've talked about this so many times, but I really think we should
We just do it.
find a way to do it. It just feels like every May I'm like, wow, here we are again.
Well, and I
And
don't think it has to be May, right? Because skin cancer
no,
awareness is all year long. And so, like, I try to do a summer event, but I'm realizing, you know, a lot of people are out of town, school's
yeah,
out, blah, blah. So, you know, I'm going to change it up. And also, I
time goes
have,
by too fast.
yeah, it does. And
Yeah.
like, also, I have this, you know, pageant stuff that I'm doing. So I will be gone in July.
Oh, let's touch on that. Tell me about how that went about and how you ended up being our sun safety pageant queen of Arizona. Let's hear about it.
Um, yeah, well, I have my brand ambassador, Alyssa.
hmm
Um, her and her mom talked me into it, but it's a good thing because when you do a pageant, you know, you have a platform, you know, whatever
Yeah.
you're trying to, you know, get your message out about. So it's like, I've been doing this already. It's just another avenue. And, you know, it's an industry where we always want to look and feel our best. And, you know,
Yeah.
I was shopping for some gowns up at, it's called Glam Squad in Scottsdale.
hmm
And as I'm trying dresses on, one of the girls that was helping me, she was talking to her friend, and she goes, you know, after this, I'm gonna go tanning, and then I'm gonna get a spray tan. And I was like, and just before like I could, you know, stick my head out and say no, thank you. Her friend was like, you shouldn't do that. That's dangerous. So I was like, you know, I don't mean
Oh,
to interrupt. However, you know,
yeah.
I told her my story, and she was like, oh.
It's just like,
So
okay, not doing that.
yeah, so I don't know. It's another avenue of trying to get my message out there. And I feel like this adds a little bit of weight. I mean, who doesn't take a crown seriously?
So what is your title and what does that mean?
I am part of this pageant system called Royal International Miss. And part of this one, it's cool because you have like the overall, like Miss Arizona, you have a chance for that. Or there's the role model crown, which is what I have. So I am Royal International Ms., because that's like 20 plus, 25 plus
Uh-huh.
Arizona role model. So yes, I'm on the older end, but I mean, they still have pageants for seniors and stuff. So I don't know.
Right. So
Um,
do you get a chance to go out with your title and you get to go and speak to people? And is this your chance to like talk about, you know, your story and sun safety and all that?
oh
Or
yeah,
yes.
definitely. So I mean, still like even just prior to this, being a business owner or just advocate in general, you know, you still have to reach out to people. You have to, you know, make connections and network and stuff. But I feel
Yeah.
like, you know, I give this title and they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. So one of
Okay.
the first things I got to do was I've never given a keynote speech. You know, I think the most I ever spoke was in college when you have to give a presentation. But I was trying to get in with it's called the Tucson Chicks and Chaps. They're a breast cancer survivor group. And I was just, trying to get in there to help or whatever, set up. And then they asked me to be the keynote speaker. So, I got to share my cancer journey with, a different type of cancer survivor. But at the end, we still face the same things,
Right.
The fear, the scams, the whatever, or the survivorship, or, people that we've lost along the way. So, just because it's a different type of cancer, we're still similar.
Yeah. I think regardless, no matter where this, the company or the title, the crown, whatever, I feel like, the title and the platform that you're given is such a huge chance for you to really just tell what you already know and your story. And, no matter if it's a short pocket that you get to talk about it, it's still an opportunity that is just huge.
Yeah. And I've never done anything like this before. So,
yeah.
But, while I'm alive, it's, try new things. And I think I or try things that you've been scared of. So part of this too was to brush up on my public speaking skills, because eventually, yes, I want, I'm trying to get as big an audience as possible.
Right. I mean, the steps that, as far as you've come and the things you've already accomplished in the time I've known you, I mean, it really is. I mean, every year I'm just like, dang girl, look at you. You're always got something else popping up.
No, you, man, you're everywhere.
I'm a little bit. I'm just a small pocket compared to what you're doing. Literally.
It's a facade. I'm just
kidding. It's a facade. You're funny. So we have both been through brain surgery. You've had a lot more post-surgery struggles with the neurosis and everything else, but...
You never had any of that?
I never got that.
Did you have brain radiation?
Yeah, which is weird because I had brain radiation for, I think it was 2 weeks every day. And yeah, and so when you got it, I was like, whoa, what is this? I was really I didn't know anything about it. So when you went through that, it took me to this really scary space in my life, because I was just oh my God, can I get that? Am I going to get that? I was freaking out. And it looked super intense what you were going through. And so is that thing that could come back? Is it long-term? What exactly?
Yeah. So, we're just hoping my brain would heal on its own. But, I think my brain surgery was in 2019. And then I've had it's a 4-dose regimen, but 2 treatments of Avastin to treat said brain necrosis. And yeah, it can come back. And so I had scans recently. Wow. And it's this one. I call it my problem child, because this is the one where, the necrosis. So I just feel a little bit of fluid buildup, but so I have to go back in 2 months for another MRI just to, see if what's called a flare. It's the dark area around the scar, if it's grown or not. So I think it is coming back because I'm very sensitive to pressure changes in this side of my ear and stuff, and I can feel the flutters. But one time it was really bad. My head felt like a puffed bag of chips, at high elevation. Wow.
Yeah.
So I don't have that, and ibuprofen works. So
what exactly causes? Can you elaborate a little bit on it? What causes it? How do you treat it exactly? And is this a lifelong thing you'll go through?
I don't know, because I still feel like I'm learning as I go, because, I was the last few treatments for the necrosis, basically it just means cell death. The tissue is affected around there, and they have Avastin to, counteract that. Yeah. And, there's not much in the literature, unfortunately. So I'm sorry, I can't really answer that. So I'm a guinea pig. My life is about being a guinea pig, and it's fine.
Isn't
Somebody
it,
has
though?
to do it.
I was gonna say it's so true though. It's just like always something.
Or like, clinical trials, all that
Mhm.
stuff. I
Yeah,
mean, somebody has to do it. And I'm trying to get, the doctors to write a paper on it. I mean, I could do it, but nobody would take me.
right. That is the hard part about it all. So where are you today? What's your story? What's going on? Are your scans and everything have been clear, and how long? And you're coming up on an anniversary, you said, so.
Yeah. So let's see, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So September will be 5 years from my original diagnosis. And then 19, 20, 21, and then in November, it'll be the 3 years since brain surgery.
Everybody,
So,
go ahead, go ahead.
oh, I don't remember what I was going to say.
Everybody marks, that's funny because that's so short term like me. Everybody marks their stage. Well, I don't just say everybody, but people mark their staging differently. Like I mark my 8 years is based off when I stopped treatment and became like cancer free. Well, I shouldn't say stop treatment, but from when the last time I had someone looked at me and said, okay, well, your scan came back, you're cancer free. So for me, I feel like that's my mile marker to say, is where I say I'm 8 years. Some people say, oh, it's the last time I had treatment, and but as things change. So what is it for you, for your cancer free?
I don't know. I guess, yeah, I don't, yeah, I guess I start from my original diagnosis, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
now if I have to deal with this brain necrosis for the rest of my life, I don't know what that means. So,
Well, I would
yeah,
say that's not melanoma. So
yeah,
technically, you'd be clear on that, I would think. It
yeah.
depends. Everybody's different. Like when I stopped treatment, so then they say, so if I went for my diagnosis, I'd be like 14 years. 14 years?
Wow.
Feels real weird to say. So I'd stick with my 8 year mark.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess last like immunotherapy treatments would have been 2020. So I don't know. I just celebrate everything, and it
Yeah.
sucks because even though you try to move on, when you get to like those certain times of the year, like September is my birthday month, but that is when I
Yeah.
had my first melanoma surgery. So my
Mine
birthday,
too.
I feel, is a little tarnished at times.
I get that.
Or you're just like, oh, I'm gonna like just go have fun, but then like that little voice is like creeping in. Remember that time you had melanoma?
And no kidding. And I feel like cancer versaries, as we call them in the cancer world, are, I don't know, for you, I don't know, some people celebrate them really big and they feel so like it's like a huge moment. And I do, I do feel grateful for where I am today, but I have a hard time celebrating them. How is it for you?
Um, I think I do in the beginning, but now it's just like, I might make a post just to remind people of skin
Mhm.
cancer, but I don't throw parties or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
don't know.
didn't even make a post this year for 8 years, and I have been for the last, well, I don't know, since I started my page, but I didn't make one this year, and it was back in September. I don't know. I just felt really weird. Well, for one, I haven't had a scan, so I just felt like I was celebrating something of a truth I didn't know. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, so
no,
it
and
was really weird for me this year. I don't know. I couldn't do it.
yeah, no, I feel ya. Yeah, or sometimes you're just like, I don't want to do it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
like I'm like, yeah, and I just feel part of me is like I feel
Well,
like
and I guess for you as a long-term now survivor, I mean, do you ever, is it ever hard for you to make posts or keep educating, or do you know what I'm trying to ask?
No, I do. I 100,000% know what you're saying, because I have a very difficult time actually trying to keep myself going, for one, and trying to find the right pieces or points that will get people to hear. Sometimes I feel like I'm really repetitive, or sometimes
Yep.
I'll post something on my story where it's just not what people want to hear. So I battle with myself a lot. Like, is what I'm doing valid anymore? But then I get
Yeah.
people saying, thank you and I appreciate you. So what I do, I actually, especially this last year, and I think that's why I didn't post on my 8 years, because I felt really weird doing it. I felt like people don't want to see that. And so I do. I question myself. I do.
Yeah. Same. Or, if eventually I never have to have another treatment, that's going to be weird, because then what do? You just like, I had cancer, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where sometimes I post and it'll be like, it's weird. It's like, is that what people want to know? Like, what do people want to, what is the right thing for people to
Ooh, look at
hear
that.
or see or read? Like, oh, I have survivor's guilt hard,
Yep.
especially with Chantel. Like recently, her story is gonna make me cry. Her story, especially because um her two little kids, like that
Yep.
was so similar to my story.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, survivor's guilt eats me up a lot.
You
Last
know,
year was really hard for, I think, any survivor. We lost a lot of good people last year. So
yeah, it hurts. It hurts because you always hope. I'm trying not to look at you because you're gonna make me cry.
I know. I'll put my head down.
No, I'm just looking away. I don't like making eye contact. But yeah, and somebody the other day I was doing some pageant stuff as a group, and one of the moms was like, this is what I like about sharing my story. Like, some days it's hard, but overall, like, I want to help people,
Yeah.
but this one of the little girl's mom, she was like, I need to go to the doctor, I have this thing. But I'm like, go. And she's, I told her how, like, I told my kids, and at the time they were 8, 5 and 3, and she's like, I couldn't imagine. And I was like, I don't know what to say, but like, you don't know unless you're like in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
No, 100%.
for me, I've had family members, keep medical stuff away from, my cousins or whatever. But I don't think that that's good either. So I don't know. I just choose to, be upfront, but like educate and
Mm-hmm.
try to stay hopeful.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
But
it is hard. But I think honesty for me is the only way I can go. I mean, they were so little, they don't remember anything. Even my oldest, who was like 5, roughly, when everything was really getting scary. 7 is probably where I thought she would remember, but she really doesn't. And
yeah,
Kendall was an infant, so
my oldest remembers. And, in a way, I'm glad that I did it that way, because it came back. Like, and it came back in full force. So here we go again. We've been down this road, let's just keep going. I mean, what else can you do?
yeah. And I get a question a lot about, like, which was it harder to be in treatment and fighting it, or is it harder to be now? And for me personally, like, I feel like it's harder now, because you really have to face what you've been through. Because when you're fighting, it's like your mentality is just this fight mode all the time. You don't really process the surgery, the treatment, who's around. Like, you don't have time for that. So, like, now, even being you know, 8 years clean, I'm like, I get thrown back with a trigger on something either that I wore or someone said, and where I'm just like, ugh, you know, and I get right back there.
Yeah, well, and you know, this weekend is Memorial Day weekend. We're going to the lake, and you know, just even going outside in public, and you have everybody, and I'm not, you do see those people that are sunburned, and you're
Yeah.
just, well, that used to be my life, but then I'm like scared for them, you know. I want to just be like, go cover up or get in some shade, or are you putting sunscreen on? Like, so it's, I feel like you look at the world differently.
Do you get the question of, are you afraid of the sun? And are you?
Um, I am not afraid when I am covered up. Um, I will do sunscreen on occasion, like especially my, you know, face and stuff, but I'd rather just cover up because I feel safer that way.
And do you wear your full like desert camo, like leggings and everything, or are you like
Oh yeah,
long sleeve
out
bathing
like,
suit?
you know, at the pool or the lake or something, but like on a normal day, I wear jeans and, you know, I take a like a long sleeve hoodie with me. I have an umbrella. Somebody asked me the other day, it was sunny. They're like, why do you have an umbrella? And it was actually my new boss. And I was like, I had skin cancer, remember? He's like, oh.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah.
So, yeah.
So going to the lake, are you gonna be in like long sleeve, like swim UPF gear?
Yeah, or, you know, well,
Or is it both?
it's both.
Yeah.
You know, especially like if I'm out in the water. What makes me really nervous is the reflection. You know what I mean? When
Yeah.
you're out on the water, you can be
Yeah.
covered up, but you know, what about this stuff?
Hmm.
Your hands, your feet.
Especially your
So,
kiddos, you know, you really gotta like be on them, I'm sure.
yes, and they've had I don't know if it was the sunscreen or what, it was not expired. We put everything on 2 hours. I think that they just, you know, spent too much time outside. They did not want to put their sun shirt on. Guess what? They got sunburn. And the oldest one, he had a mullet and he cut it recently. So his neck had not seen the sun in a
Mm.
long time. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I hope you don't get skin cancer. You know what I mean? Like, and it sucks because you can do, you know, you can say, you can do all these education, but at the end of the day, people are going to do it or they're not.
How do you manage your children with the skin cancer? Like, how do they react, and how do you get through to them?
Um, I'm not a helicopter parent per se. I mean, we did try our best, so I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was the chemical or what, or maybe they just had too much time in the water, but I don't
It's
know.
hard. It's hard.
Yeah,
I have a difficult time still.
yeah. And I mean, I guess I'm doing better than what I had growing up. Nobody told me to wear sunscreen unless we were going out, you know, on vacation or something. But, you
Yeah.
know, and I wore sunscreen on my face when I was in college, but nobody told me you had to put it on every 2 hours. And it
Yeah.
was only like 15 SPF, oil of Olay.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I can tell them and they can do stuff, but they're their own being, right? Their own free will. I can't
Yeah.
be there for them at every beck and call. And especially in this day and age, like
Yeah,
it's
it's
hard.
impossible.
Like kids need to learn, but
Yeah.
you know, you know what I mean? Ugh.
Yeah, it's tough. No, it's tough. I have a
I
difficult
feel
time
like
with
I'm
my
in this
oldest.
great,
Yeah,
you know,
my
big
oldest is
life
my
black.
challenge. For sure, it's tough. So, where do you see you next year? What's like your goal for next year? What do you have in mind? And
Well, hopefully I'll be an international pageant queen,
yeah.
but I'm just gonna keep chugging along, doing what I'm doing, and you know,
Hmm.
as far as my business, the last few like event things that I've done, I didn't sell anything, so
Yeah,
that's why I attempted Tempe Fashion Week, and you know,
which was incredible. It looked so
it's
great.
it's crazy because I'm just focused on, you know, trying to do these other things, and then you get the pictures and you're like, oh, wow.
Oh,
It's
it
not
looks so great. I was like, dang, it totally just, the way you presented it really just made it look so like really appealing and really like eye-catching. I mean, they were great photos, great event it looked like.
it was and it's a nice it was a nice group of people. It's like a nonprofit thing, so you know,
Yeah,
models are getting experience, stylists are getting experience, and everybody was just really kind.
that's
um,
good.
I didn't have to, you know, there weren't any like catty moments or anything like
Right.
that.
That's
So
great.
yeah, I don't know, I'm just gonna keep, you know, I need to catch up on my bucket list, but this pageant stuff is really
Hmm.
taking a lot.
I'm sure you got a lot going on. I'm sure you're busy.
So I'm trying to set more boundaries and say no, which I did learn
Good
during
job.
cancer. But,
Yeah.
you know, when you're, I don't want to say addicted, but when you're passionate, say about skin cancer, you know, I'm trying to seize every opportunity, but sometimes you have to say no.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't know
Boundaries
what,
are important.
I'm just trying to get through right now. How about you?
Yeah. Um, the same. I'm literally, I'm staying steady with, this cancer stuff and really trying to figure out where this is going to lead me. I'm really feeling like I'm at a crossroads, and I felt this way. I think it was like 2020, where I was like, what am I going to do with this page? What do I want out of it? What's my goals, my long-term goals? So I'm really trying to figure out where I see myself next year and what I can accomplish along the way. So I don't honestly know. I just, at this point, I figure I'm just going to keep trying to change things up, trying to make, fun reels that are educational and, make people stop scrolling and listen to the facts. And so that's been kind of my focus is videos, really trying to.
Yeah, and I feel like those get a lot more engagement, but
They
making them
do.
go is hard.
They are hard. They
Like
really
I,
are. They
yeah,
take a
and
lot of time.
I've had to do a couple, like even a video for a minute. You're just like, okay, stop, start over. What? I just what? So
It is. It's a lot.
it's,
That's
and I
been kind of a
try to be better
focus.
too, but yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, that focus and trying to build up, my blog and YouTube and that kind of thing. So I really just, and I'm trying to figure out, do I want all these social media things? Like I have Facebook, which I really rarely post on. It's just like from Instagram to Facebook. And then, the all the things. And I'm just trying to figure out, do I need to narrow this down and pull it back a bit so I can really focus on. So I'm trying to figure out where this is leading me. So I'm like, I feel like I'm going like this a lot, in and
Yeah,
out, in and out. So
and
I don't
yeah.
know.
Well,
We'll see. But I really would love to get in on trying to make a change for, as an Arizona group. I feel like that would be a great opportunity.
yes, agreed. And I mean, I'm the only one down here. There's more of you guys up there, so
Yeah.
um, yeah. And Dee and her, you know, brother, yeah, because part of what I'm doing is small business too. So,
Right.
you know, or even if we want to just make it, you know, not more like more of an intimate setting, because I feel like I've
Hmm.
reached out to the public and people are like, whatever, but how can we grow our uh, message
Yeah.
together?
That is
Should we
exactly it.
create like a group or something, you know, or a nonprofit? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the whole, coming together at some point and just actually starting to talk about it is our first step and seeing what people can and can't do and then kind of going from there. But I feel like for the most part, everybody wants the same thing and is working towards the same goals. So I think it shouldn't, depending on what people want, it shouldn't be hard to do. So
Yeah.
where can people find you online? What's your social? Where are you at?
So my Personal IG is Melanoma Blows.
Mm-hmm.
And my business is Desert Cameo Apparel. You can also shop online at that's 3Ws .desertcameoapparel.com. And then my pageant is RIM AZ role model, or RIM Miss AZ role model. I don't know. It's a white sparkly picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have, do you have Facebook? And you have Facebook, right? And
yes,
Twitter.
But so that's all connected to my Instagram. But yeah, I guess Candice Mason. You could probably type that in.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have more outreach on Instagram.
Me too.
Than Facebook. And Facebook is more like friends and family.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah, but it's hard to keep up with social media now. Like with my new job, I have like 4 or 5 accounts total that, I have to make content for. So
right. Yeah, it becomes a challenge. That's why I feel like I need to pull it in a little and figure out what I really want to keep up with and what I can't. So for sure, it's something. But I do. Yeah. I mean, I think what you're doing is great, as always encouraging you, and, forever be my brain pal, I think,
I know.
Yeah, we will always have that insanely gross connection that we're unfortunate to have.
I know, but like if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be here today.
We really wouldn't be. So for that, I'm grateful. And I feel like cancer has made me a better person, and you probably feel the same.
Yeah.
It really has.
Just feel like you learn to weed out the BS, and I'm choosing to spend my time more wisely with things and people than ever before. So I don't have time for stuff.
Agreed. All right. Well, I'm going to post this up on my YouTube channel. It's way too big for Instagram. I've just figured that out this month. So it will be up on YouTube, and I will, of course, make sure everyone can see the link who wasn't able to watch today. But if you don't have anything else to add to our beautiful video, we could part our ways today.
Only the fact that I miss you, and it's been a long time since we've seen in person.
I know, it's been a hot minute. So we'll have to connect anytime.
Well, and I am in Phoenix a lot more often these days. So
oh yeah, let me know. We can get coffee or whatever.
I think I'll be up next month on the 24th. We have a dress rehearsal. I'll be in Goodyear.
Oh, that's not too far from me.
Yeah, maybe we could do lunch or something. I could stop by.
Let me know. That'd be great.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me today. We'll talk soon. Love your crown. You look beautiful.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye.